So just like my phone, hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear because I'm on a different, I'm doing my hands-free speaker tonight. So just like my phone, sleep deprivation, this is what this is all about. I started this morning working at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's not to be proud of, that's just, I needed to do that to get the jobs done. And I tell you what, I've never stopped. I went I went in for a 2 kilometre swim at 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock. And then I had my breakfast, and then I had nothing to eat all day until this point in time. So it's been a bit of a challenging day. That's 15 hours so far straight, more or less, plus my 2 kilometre swim in between. So sleep deprivation. I mean, all these people that go on sleep for wimps and all the rest of it, the reality is you do need sleep. I mean, sleep deprivation can be a really, really tough thing to get over. So I've put a link into the article in here, and it says, what is sleep deprivation, what causes it, what are the symptoms of it, what are the consequences of it, and how sleep deprivation is diagnosed and how to prevent and treat sleep deprivation. So almost everyone's encountered at some point in time, and I'm sure you have as well, a feeling, a zombie-like feeling after the night of minimal or no sleep at all. I mean, the next day, sometimes it's all, I would liken it almost to like you're hungover the next day because of just lack of sleep. Even after just one night without even enough rest, you can feel drowsy the next day with slow thinking, lack of energy, and an irritable mood. Maybe that's why I'm always irritated. Sorry, I had to put that joke in there somewhere. Sleep deprivation is when you don't get sleep that you need. And it's estimated that around 1/3 of adults actually have a problem that has only worsened in recent years because of all the worrying and lockdown and all the rest of it. I mean, lack of sleep directly affects how we think and how we feel itself. While the short-term impacts are most noticeable, and chronic sleep deprivation can heighten the long-term risk of physical and mental health problems. When you think about it, I mean, look at some of these leaders in the past. Classic example is prime ministers. It's like, oh, I've only slept 4 hours every night since. And then, you know, I'm not going to name her name, but for the very beginning, she was okay in the beginning, and all of a sudden, towards the end, and I think it was because of sleep deprivation and stress, she turned into a raving monster, basically. That was one prime minister I could remember. And I'm saying her, you know who we were talking about, because there was only one woman, one prime minister. I mean, to avoid these problems, it's important to avoid sleep deprivation. Understanding the condition, including its causes, symptoms, diagnosis and treatment, can put you in a better position when you think about it to ensure that you're actually getting the sleep that you actually need. So what is sleep deprivation anyway? What is it in the first place? Well, the term sleep deprivation refers to the getting less than the needed amount of sleep, which for adults ranges from 7 to 9 hours. So if you're not actually getting 7 to 9 hours every single night, then there could be an issue here. Children and teens are need even more nightly sleep than adults. So that's amazing as well. I mean, a lot of the time, parents actually force their kids to get up at certain times, when in actual fact, you should be okay with them sleeping in, because your brain's hardwiring and rewiring as a result when you're growing, and it's not because you're just born lazy. It is actually a genuine reason why you begin to sleep, and as children you sleep quite a lot. So all definitions of sleep deprivation, there you go, I'm getting sleep deprivation already because I can hardly contain my words. All definitions of sleep deprivation are the same, and sleep medicine, sleep deprivation is defined based on the sleep duration, which is the total amount of time a person spends asleep itself. In reality, though, being well rested is about more than just as many hours that you sleep. As a result, the term sleep deficiency or sleep inefficiency, insufficiency as well, are more frequently used to describe factors that reduce the quantity and the quality of sleep that a person from waking up can keep them from waking up refreshed. And this way, the sleep deficiency has a broader application. For example, as a person who sleeps a total of 8 hours, but with many awakenings that fragment their actual sleep itself, may have insufficient sleep, even though their sleep duration technically meets the recommended amount. So, I mean, have you had that yourself, where you actually you go to your bed probably about 9 o'clock at night, and you end up waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you've been constantly interrupted in between for one reason or another, and you've got an erratic sleep behaviour, And as a result, what happens is you get up in the morning and you feel lousy. You feel completely, again, I come back to saying, almost feel like you're hungover. So the terminology can be distinct in every everyday conversation, in which the term sleep deprivation may be used with a wider meaning, which refers to the poor sleep overall and the total sleep duration itself. There are different types of sleep deprivation. Okay, acute sleep deprivation refers to short periods, usually a few days or less, where a person has significant reduction in their sleep time. Chronic sleep deprivation is known as insufficient sleep syndrome, which is curtailed sleep that persists for 3 months or longer. And chronic sleep deficiency or insufficient sleep can describe ongoing sleep deprivation as a poor sleep that occurs between sleep fragmentations or other disruptions. So is sleep deprivation actually different from insomnia? Well, both insomnia and sleep deprivation actually involve failing to get enough sleep, when many experts in sleep science make it a distinction between them. People with insomnia have trouble sleeping even though they have plenty of time to sleep. On the other hand, people with sleep deprivation itself don't have enough time allocated for sleep as a result of behaviour choices or everyday obligations. I stand guilty, Your Honour. I don't know why I'm laughing. Maybe laughing at myself, actually. How crazy this is. An illustration of this difference is that people who are sleep deprived because of busy work schedule usually have no problem sleeping longer on weekends or trying to catch up on sleep. Someone with insomnia, though, still struggles to sleep despite having the opportunity to do so. Ooh, I might have insomnia then. Because I still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every single morning regardless. I can go to my bed at 1 and still wake up at 4. I don't know about you guys. And I can still go to my bed at 10 and still wake up at 4. And it's weird. But I still, alarm clock. I mean, I know a lot of older guys that always talk about that. And they said, I've always woke up at 5 every single day, come hell or high water. And I think it's because possibly you're programmed to do it. You don't actually need a clock to tell you to get up at 5 o'clock. It's actually inbuilt into you. So what causes sleep deprivation? Well, multiple factors can cause and contribute to sleep deprivation, including poor sleep hygiene, lifestyle choices, work obligations, sleep disorders, or medical conditions itself. Sleep deprivation is often driven by voluntary choices that reduce available sleep time. I mean, for example, when a person decides to stay up late to binge watch television. Yes, I'm guilty, Your Honour. Do you guys stay up all night to binge watch television? You just get addicted to it, don't you? It's like, I'm going to my bed at 10 o'clock, and then you get into this film, and it's like, oh, well, it finishes at 20 to 11. Oh, I'll just, I really want to watch the end, even though I've seen it before. But I still feel compelled to watch it. I'll just have another cup of tea, and then I'll go off to sleep. But that's 40 minutes you've lost of sleep. And then you kind of make that up, because then you have to get up a set time to get on with your work. There's another one. Work obligations are a common contributor to sleep deprivation. People who work in multiple jobs or extended hours may not have enough time for sufficient sleep. Shift workers, there you go, who have to work through the night may also find it hard to get that amount of sleep that they really actually need because they're working on shifts all the time. Sleep deficiency may be caused by other sleep disorders or medical conditions. For example, sleep apnea, there you go, a breathing disorder which induces dozens of nightly awakenings. This is erratic sleep behaviour. And then the constant sleep, even though you're going to your bed at 9 and getting up at 9, you've got so many times you're waking up in between because of sleep apnea, then you don't get a proper night's sleep and proper, what they call the REM sleep. So it's the rapid eye movement thing and the deep, deep sleep. That's how when somebody hypnotises you, when you think about it. Then somebody's woken up after hypnotism maybe half an hour later and they go, wow, that's the best sleep I've ever had. I've often been wrongly put into, I was going to say that, wrongly put into hospital, but I've often turned up for appointments for hospital, and it's been the wrong information they've been given, so they've turned around and says, sorry, we can't do what we're meant to be doing today, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness for that. I says, but I tell you what, I had a fantastic sleep while I was sitting on the bed for a couple of hours, and sometimes that's the best sleep I've ever had, because I know I'm switching off for that period of time. And I'm not going to do anything else other than that. So actually, I'm completely relaxed. So just that 2 hours or that 1 hour out of time actually is a godsend. That's often why the fact that, power napping and having a 40 winks during the day and stuff like that is actually quite a good thing. I was always told by people like Tony Robbins and Richard Branson that when I was looking at theirs and listening to them and what they were saying that power napping is actually quite good to do because it's your body actually telling you just to go to sleep and just have that wee bit of rest in between. So it is actually quite a good thing. So don't try to keep yourself awake all day if you need to. If you need, a wee bit of rest during the day, maybe in a break time or something like that, just take a kip in the back of the office. Tell somebody to man the phones and say, I'm going for 5 minutes. And I'll just have a wee nod off and, and you'll be completely refreshed for the afternoon. I would definitely recommend that. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys do to get over that. So sleep deficiency may be caused by other sleep disorders or medical conditions, and we'd said sleep apnea itself. So the primary signs or symptoms of sleep deprivation include excessive daytime sleepiness, daytime impairment such as reduced concentration, slow thinking or mood changings. Feeling extremely tired during the day is one of the hallmark signs of sleep deprivation. People with excessive daytime sleepiness may feel drowsy but have hard time to stay awake even when they need to. In some cases, this results in microsleeps, in which a person dozes off for a matter of seconds. That's often pretty good. I enjoy it anyway. I often do that when I'm sitting watching telly. As soon as I sit down, does anybody else have that? As soon as you actually sit down, you start to yawn and you start to feel tired. And yet when you're up and out and about all the time, you don't feel like that at all. Even though you've been going constantly all the time. I mean, it's amazing to think about it. I've been going 15 hours solid and I'm still talking like this, like I'm wired and fired. I'm going to come down with a crash tomorrow. Hope no. Try to avoid that. So insufficient sleep can directly affect how a person feels during their waking hours. Example of these include slow thinking, reduced attention span, worsened memory, poor or risky decision making, lack of energy, that's another one, and mood changes, wow, including feelings of stress, anxiety or irritability. A person's symptoms can often depend on the extent of their sleep deprivation and whether it's acute or chronic. So research suggests that some individuals are more likely to experience symptoms after a lack of sleep than this may be of being tied to the person's genetics itself. So stimulants like caffeine can also mask the symptoms of sleep deprivation. So for goodness sake, if you're feeling tired, do not touch caffeine. That just makes it worse because it gives you a false high and you come down with a crash even more. If you feel tired, you need to sleep. So it's important you know how you feel on and off of these substances. So what are the consequences of sleep deprivation? Well, here we go. The effects of sleep deprivation and sleep deficiency can be serious and far-reaching. Acute sleep deprivation raises the risk of unintentional errors and accidents. Wow, that's a health and safety issue at work, especially if you're in there. Especially driving. I mean, drowsy driving, which involves slow reaction time and the risk of microsleeps, can be life-threatening to other people. People who are sleeping deprived are more likely to struggle in school. Yep, absolutely. So if you've got your kids up all night playing games and they struggle to get up in the morning, or even if they get up straight away, they might actually be suffering at school because they might not be able to concentrate as a result of that. So to experience mood changes that can affect also personal relationships. So that's another cause of sleep deprivation. Chronic sleep deprivation can contribute to a wide range of health problems. Sleep plays a fundamental role in the effective functioning of nearly all the systems in the body itself. So a persistent lack of sleep creates significant risk to the physical and mental health. Remember, if you don't get enough sleep, your mental health will suffer as a result of this. So you need to get sleep. You need to take time out. You need to discipline yourself to do that. Cardiovascular diseases and studies have found strong associations between sleep deficiency and cardiovascular problems, including high blood pressure, coronary heart disease, heart attack, and even stroke. Diabetes. Insufficient sleep appears to affect the body's ability to regulate blood sugar, increased risk of metabolic conditions like diabetes as well. Obesity. Research has found that people tend to consume more calories and carbohydrates when they don't get enough sleep, and it's just one of the several ways that poor sleep may be tied to constant obesity problems maintaining a healthy weight. Autoimmune deficiency, or immunodeficiency or whatever it is. Sleep deficiency has been shown to tend to worsen immune function, such as poorer response to vaccines. Wow, that is an important one right now, right here. And pain as well. Sleep-deprived people are higher risk of pain, developing pain, feeling pain, mental disorders. Sleep can cause mental disorders. It's intertwined with poor sleep associations, conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and overall risks of, as well, of sleep deprivation. No surprise, studies found insufficient sleep deprivation has been a greater overall risk of death, as well as a lower quality of life. In society as a whole, impacts of sleep deprivation is actually enormous. So how is sleep deprivation diagnosed? Doctors can often diagnose sleep deprivation by discussions of patient's symptoms and sleep patterns. May involve a sleep diary, sleep questionnaire, detailed look at sleep patterns, daytime symptoms. In some cases, additional testing such as sleep tracking technology with an overnight sleep study can actually be conducted as well. So how to prevent these sleep deprivation? I think that's maybe just go to sleep. If you've ongoing worsening problems with insufficient sleep or daytime sleepiness, work with your doctor, a good first sign for getting that relief itself. The doctor can assess the situation, recommend treatment that best suits your needs. Okay, so most cases are focused on sleep hygiene, your sleep environment, your daily habits, central to component preventing and treating sleep deprivation itself. The following sections in this post that I've got in there in the link, so click on it. Following sections outline some key sleep hygiene improvements for people to get that. So address sleep deprivation, just don't cope with it. So address it, don't cope with it. That's the most important thing. So make sure you get that. Make sleep a priority. Have a conscious sleep schedule. Set boundaries for your work life and social life. Have a bedtime routine. Customise your bedtime environment. Design your bed. Make sure your mattress is fine. Avoid things that can interfere with sleep, such as electronic devices, alcohol. Do not drink alcohol. That doesn't help you sleep and it makes it worse the next day. Causes depression and anxiety. Caffeine. Don't touch caffeine before you go to bed. It's amazing how many people go out to a cafe and at 11 o'clock at night they decide to, let's have a coffee before we go home. Really? That's not the thing to do. And naps. Keep naps from interfering with the sleep at night. Keep them short, 30 minutes or less, and never take them in the late afternoon or later. If you're struggling with insomnia, it's best to avoid naps altogether. Wow, never realised that. I thought it was the other way around. So make the most of your day. Get frequent sunlight exposure during the day, supports a healthy rhythm that helps you be alert during the day and sleepy at night itself. Regular physical activity can also contribute to a normal sleep schedule, so try and engage in at least moderate exercise every single day. And you could read more on here, and hopefully that's helped you, and it's certainly educated me a lot more. And thank you very much, and I'll see you all tomorrow if I wake up after my sleep. Bye-bye for now.